New details are emerging about the shooting of the UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and prosecutors have begun presenting evidence from the case to a New York grand jury. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano is joining me now to talk more about this. She's been covering the story from the very beginning, and you're one of the rare times you're here in the studio to talk about a story that you've been on the road for. So let's talk about this grand jury evidence that they're looking at, that his lawyers have no clue as to what they might actually be seeing.
Neither do we, but what we do know from NYPD sources is that the NYPD has, according to them, forensic evidence placing the suspect, Luigi Mangione, at the scene of the crime. That is fingerprint evidence, not just from a water bottle and a Kind Bar wrapper that was found near the crime scene, but also from a cell phone that was found in the same vicinity in an alleyway. They also matched the shell casings, the ones that you remember said delay and possibly depose.
Right,
Those three were matched to the ghost gun that the suspect was found carrying with him. So at least you have that kind of direct evidence that places him there. There's also the notebook that sources tell CBS News had a to-do list, had a thought about whether to make an attack with a bomb or a gun, and choosing a gun over a bomb because that would spare other lives, innocent lives. There's all kinds of, there's the 3-page document. There's all kinds of evidence that at least the NYPD, or that we're learning from our sources at the NYPD at CBS News, that a grand jury would have plenty of to indict him. And as you know, I mean, as any legal expert and non-expert knows, the bar is very low. His attorney does not have access, as a defense attorney in Pennsylvania, does not have access to that information. What I'm learning is that once there is an indictment, it is possible for his defense to get that evidence. So it's not disclosure. It's a little bit more complicated than that. There has to be an extradition. But they could start working on that defense after the indictment.
What I thought was interesting in your reporting last night and this morning on CBS Mornings is his whereabouts after the shooting, what police think. Because originally, when we were still just going off of what the police were telling us when he had not been found yet, we thought that he had taken a bus somewhere else. But then you had something new to report this morning.
It's remarkable to all of us that he didn't take the path that everybody thought, which was, or allegedly, which was the bus terminal out of the state.
Right. Instead
of that, which was 120 blocks north from the crime scene, what police are saying, what police confirmed to our colleague Ali Bauman from WCBS, was that they believe he took a subway, the A-train subway, to Penn Station, which is only a mile away from the crime scene. Is that smart because you're kind of shaking off the trail? Or is that very risky because now you're very close to the crime scene, and police believe that from there, then he would have taken a train to Pennsylvania.
Wow. Fascinating details.
It's a bit of a catch-me-if-you-can situation there that I'm trying to trace with the map and thinking, I mean, it seems to have worked until Altoona.
Right. And finally, so we think that he's probably going to lose this extradition battle and he'll be extradited to New York in the next couple of days, weeks?
Yes. I mean, there is no real expectation that the extradition would be stopped. It's more of a delay. It could be a delay of up to 30 days. It seems what Governor Hochul has said is that the extradition really solidifies, that the indictment really solidifies the extradition and minimizes the opportunities for his defense in Pennsylvania to challenge the legality of it all, which is what they're saying. They're saying, we don't know what charges he's facing. Well, with an indictment, you do.
Wow, fascinating details there. Lilia Luciano, thank you very much. Good to see you here in studio.